Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Breaking news, a suspect is in custody after a report of a shooting in Goldsboro. Sky 5 was over that scene as the handcuffs went on. We have a live report coming up.
And it's dry right now, but this rain could impact your weekend plans. I'll have the hour-by-hour rain timeline for Saturday coming up.
And we have open questions right now as authorities search for a murder suspect spotted this week at 3 Raleigh high schools.
Now, breaking news from WRAL, coverage you can count on.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. It has been a busy hour in the WRAL newsroom. We have a lot of breaking news to get to happening right now.
We have an update on the school voucher debate, a decision in the RFK Jr. ballot battle, and we're still following the heightened security at Wake County high schools today after a murder suspect was spotted.
We'll get to all of that. First, though, a SWAT situation in Goldsboro after a shooting. In the last 5 minutes, we learned one person is dead, and this was the scene on Hughes Street when Sky 5 flew overhead around 10 this morning.
WRAL's Heidi Kirk is there and joins us now live from the scene. Heidi, a man who was barricaded here has since been arrested.
And Jeff, Renee, just within the last few minutes, a scene on Hughes Street here in Goldsboro cleared. There was quite a big police presence. In fact, I'm going to step out of the way and have you take a look at where most of this scene on Hughes Street was collected. Now, once again, I want you to take a look at some video from Sky 5. This is what we saw here this morning, but we just learned that this incident happened at 2 different locations. But what you're seeing right now is the moment when Goldsboro's police department and several other emergency response teams took a 23-year-old male suspect into custody right here on Hughes Street. Now, of course, we still have a lot of questions about what charges are related to that homicide and what is happening here and how it was connected to a nearby shooting. But we have learned that one person died. And like we said, there was quite a big police presence when we got here. Lots of caution tape, neighbors standing nearby. We're still trying to learn exactly what happened here at the intersection of Olivia Lane and Hughes Street and how it might be connected to another location. We're going to be pushing for questions and bring you updates throughout the day. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, live in Goldsboro.
All Raleigh high schools are on high alert today after a murder suspect was seen at 3 Raleigh high schools. Yeah,
authorities continue to search for that murder suspect there. Take a look at this map right here. You can see Broughton High School included among them. Athens Drive High School and Enloe Magnet School is where that murder suspect was seen. All 3 of those schools.
Let's go to Chelsea Donovan, who is live at Broughton High School right now. Chelsea.
Yes, so Renee, I'm here at Broughton High School near downtown Raleigh. It's one of 3 high schools, as you mentioned, that a murder suspect visited multiple times earlier this week. This as there is, of course, a massive hunt underway for Sincere Pigford. That is the murder suspect we're talking about. Take a look at your screen. I want to show you who this is right there on your screen. This is Sincere Pigford. He has an outstanding arrest for the murder of Serenity Spencer. That was a murder that occurred on June 30th on Hodge Road in Wendell. 2 other brothers were charged with the murder of Serenity Spencer earlier this week, but authorities say Pigford has not been found. Now, what's most alarming is that Wake County Schools tells us Pigford visited 3 Wake County high schools this week. That includes where I'm at, Broughton, Enloe, and Athens Drive. The school system identified him as a trespasser, but say they didn't know he was a suspect in an ongoing murder investigation. Now, it wasn't until this morning that the school system sent out a message to parents and staff and students to notify them of the additional security measures that would be on hand here at these 3 schools. Now, of course, there's so many questions that we've been asking authorities all morning. We want to know where this search for Pigford is centered around. Was he a student at one of these 3 schools? We're working to learn that. And I also want to mention I just got off the phone with the victim's sister in this case, that's Serenity Spencer. She tells me, of course, this family is on heightened alert, hoping for Pigford's quick capture and arrest. And she did let me know that her sister did not know any of these suspects. She was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. You'll hear more of that interview coming up in our later newscasts. Live in Raleigh, Chelsea Donovan, WRAL News.
More breaking news now. Mail-in voting in North Carolina will be delayed by at least a few days. That's due to a court ruling today in the case of whether Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s name should appear on the ballot for the presidential race. State officials were supposed to begin sending out mail-in ballots today for the more than 130,000 North Carolina voters who requested them. But the North Carolina Court of Appeals ordered elections officials to hold off and to start reprinting ballots without Kennedy's name on them. State officials have said that will cost hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars and could delay the start of mail-in voting for weeks beyond today's deadline. The Court of Appeals order today did not explain why the judges overturned a trial court ruling against Kennedy yesterday.
Time is 12:04. I'm Chris Levingood here in the WRAL Live Center with a breaking update we've learned within the past 30 minutes or so. Republican State House and Senate leaders have reached a deal on funding school vouchers. Specifically, the deal includes fully funding private school vouchers known as Opportunity Scholarship here. I want to show you just a reaction real quick. It's not so much a reaction, but yesterday, early this morning, what Governor Roy Cooper was saying about this before we learned about this deal being reached, it said that the Republican voucher scheme would have devastating consequences on our public schools, educators, and families. Public dollars belong in public schools. I did look to see if the North Carolina GOP group had posted anything, but I haven't seen anything within the past 5 minutes or so, just posting some things from yesterday. So we're watching carefully a little bit more on this. But one thing I can also mention is that the deal would also increase funding for public schools and community colleges and provide money for Medicaid and internet for countryside communities.
Also breaking news within the last 30 minutes, we learned someone was shot during an altercation at a McDonald's in Selma. WRAL's Brett Neese is live there on that scene. And Brett, what are you learning about the person who was shot?
Yeah, Jeff, I just police about 30 minutes ago. They tell me there are multiple people that were involved in this altercation, and they tell me a single gunshot unfortunately hit that person who was shot in the head. I want to show you a video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker to show you what this scene looked like. It all played out around 8:30 last night. You see police there blocking off the entire parking lot, employees hugging each other as well. And police say that they have actually arrested 2 people already in this case. They have warrants out for 2 more people, working to learn what started this altercation and if the person shot is an employee at this McDonald's. I'm also working to get an update on their condition. As soon as I have that, I'll pass it along. Live in Selma, Brett Neese, WRAL News.
And we apologize for the audio issues on Brett's microphone. Part of the weekend looks rainy, but part of the weekend also looks gorgeous. Meteorologist Amy Wilmoth is here now with a look at the hours you might want to plan for indoor activities. Amy.
It's really Saturday that we're focused on for the potential for rain. It's the first half of the day, the morning into the early afternoon, 6 a.m. to around 2 p.m. That's our best chance for rain over the weekend. So you might want some indoor plans on Saturday, especially if you're east and south of the Triangle. But Sunday, beautiful weather. Get outside. It's going to be lovely. Lots of sunshine, comfortable humidity, and comfortable temperatures. But here's what we're monitoring. We have this area of deep moisture that's going to be lifting to the north. That combined with this cold front that's moving in from the west, both of them kind of combine on Saturday and bring that potential for rain. So the hour-by-hour forecast for rain tomorrow, rain chances are highest at about 40% in the morning into the early afternoon. Notice how they kind of taper off as we progress through the day. We do have a front that's going to move through between 3 and 5 o'clock, so a couple of spotty showers will be possible along that front as well. But look at the rain totals. Most of the totals are going to come east and south of the Triangle. I have a town-by-town look at rain chances for tomorrow coming up in just a little bit.
Amy, thanks. The teenager charged with killing 4 people in a Georgia high school and his father are back in custody after appearing in court this morning. WRAL's Noah Klein is here now. Noah, their lawyers declined to seek bail for their clients.
Renee, that's right. Colt Gray appeared first, and we actually saw some parents of the victims in the courtroom. One of them is actually holding a stuffed animal. The 14-year-old came out with shackles on his wrists and ankles, wearing khakis and a green shirt. The judge advised him of his rights along with the charges and the penalties he's facing. Gray was escorted out, then told to actually come back in because the judge wanted to correct an earlier statement that his crimes could be punishable by death. Because he's a juvenile, the maximum penalty he faces here is life without parole. Gray, though, is still being tried as an adult. The judge set another hearing for him in December. Meanwhile, Colin Gray, that's Colt's father, appeared in court soon after his son. He's facing multiple charges, including 2 counts here of second-degree murder. According to an arrest warrant, Colin Gray gave his son a firearm, quote, with knowledge he was a threat to himself and others. The judge said if Colin Gray is convicted on all counts, he could face a maximum prison sentence of 180 years. Gray told investigators he purchased the AR-style rifle used in the shooting as a holiday present for his son back in December of 2023. Now, in just the last hour, the Barrow County's DA there said Colt Gray is likely to face more charges as investigators find more evidence.
Noah, thanks. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump is scheduled to speak in Charlotte today. He'll speak to the Fraternal Order of Police's National Board of Trustees. This will be Trump's fourth visit to North Carolina since Vice President Kamala Harris became his opponent. Harris's campaign is launching a weekend of action with more than 2,000 events happening across the country. Harris and Trump will debate each other for the first time on Tuesday, and you can watch it right here on WRAL.
There's a huge celebration this morning along Murchison Road, just across the street from Fayetteville State University. School and community leaders cut the ribbon on a new Chick-fil-A in Bronco Midtown Plaza. WRAL's Gilbert Bays is live at that location. And Gilbert, we understand the university is celebrating more than just a new place for students to eat.
Jeff, that's exactly right. You can see the new Chick-fil-A here, as you mentioned, right across from FSU. This is Murchison Road. This is the front doorstep, the corridor to the university. But as you also mentioned, it is in Bronco Midtown. And this part of the university, it's owned by the university. All these shops and things here are owned by the university, giving the university and this community a nice economic boost. Let me show you how things kicked off this morning. We had a ton of guest speakers that were on the podium this morning, but then they got down to the serious business. They pulled out those giant scissors and they cut the ribbon, and that signaled the official opening of the business here, the Chick-fil-A that's been under construction for the past year. But FSU is also celebrating more than just 7,000 students enrolled at the university this semester. That is a record-breaking number for the university, and the third consecutive year that the enrollment has had a substantial increase. Now, Chancellor Darrell Allison says there are good reasons that students are choosing FSU.
We're going to make it the most affordable for you with 30, 60, 90 free summer school. We also want to try to get it done in 4 years or less. We're being very intentional. We're directing the resources to get it done. Again, where the question is higher education worth it? At FSU, exclamation point, it is.
Now, in addition, a couple of years ago, the FSU made the university tuition free for families of service members. That has bumped enrollment as also. Now, they cut the ribbon on the Chick-fil-A here, but it will not officially open until Monday morning. They'll open on Monday at 11 o'clock, and unfortunately, this one does not have a drive-through. Reporting live here in Fayetteville, Gilbert Bays, WRAL News.
The U.S. labor market picked back up in August after a surprisingly weak employment report the month before. Employers added about 142,000 jobs last month, and that marked stronger growth than July. The unemployment rate dropped to 4.2% from 4.3%.
Take a look at stocks this noon. You see what the Dow Jones Industrial Average is doing, down 374 points right now. NASDAQ down even more, 426 points in the red right now. The S&P 500 is also down about 1% right now. This is a lot of it coming off of that mixed jobs report that came out earlier this morning.
A wild scene last night on one of California's busiest freeways.
That's after a helicopter, you see it right here, landed on it. We'll show you the chaos that caused coming up.
And if you feel like it's been a sweltering summer, it's definitely not your imagination. In fact, it's one for the record books.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257. Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
I'm Chris Lovingood here in the WRAL Live Center with a breaking update. Within the past 2 minutes, we got this information in from Raleigh Police. Right now, what you're seeing is Sky 5 above Spalding Street, and this is in Raleigh. And we're being told that there was a reported shooting that happened here. Investigators say when officers got there, they found a woman who was suffering from serious gunshot wounds. She was then taken to a hospital because of how serious those injuries were. Officers and detectives are currently there right now. They're going through evidence, and they're trying to figure out what exactly led up to this shooting. But no suspect has been arrested right now. Let's look a little bit more at this video as you clearly see the crime scene tape there, and there's at least one squad car, and we see at least a couple of officers standing by another vehicle there as well. A wider view of this, you'll actually see just how much the vehicles are going down the road there. You'll see that this is a dead-end part of the street. more crime scene tape blocking off that staircase leading into that neighborhood. So we'll keep on trying to get more information as investigators are saying. Again, they're trying to figure out what led up to this shooting. Stay with WRAL News. We'll keep you informed.
I'll take you across the country now. A helicopter was forced to land on a South Los Angeles freeway last night, causing major traffic delays. The helicopter touched down in the southbound lanes of the 110 freeway after experiencing mechanical issues. No injuries were reported, according to California Highway Patrol, but one side of the freeway there had to be shut down as emergency crews responded to that scene. It caused major traffic backups, as you see there. All drivers were forced to exit the freeway and avoid that area.
People across the world are feeling the heat. This summer is on track to be the hottest in recorded history. Scientists have confirmed this summer season broke global heat records for the second year in a row. Last month, Australia broke its national record for the hottest day with temperatures reaching 107 degrees. The summer season ends with the autumn equinox, which is on September 22nd. And we're saying goodbye to all that extreme heat, and these temperatures are perfect, even below normal right now.
No heat, no problem. Couple of showers out there. Amy Wilmington, the WRL Severe Weather Center, not right now, but coming to start our weekend.
Right, yeah, today looks good. We'll have an increase in the clouds today, but the rain starts overnight tonight and into Saturday. So Saturday morning, scattered showers are possible. It will be fairly light rain, but if you're headed out and about, have the umbrella, maybe the poncho. It's not going to be anything really heavy. We don't expect storms in the morning, but definitely some rain possible. At lunchtime, showers are possible. It'll be fairly light. Most of it's going to be east and south of the triangle. And then later in the afternoon and evening, a cold front arrives. We'll have some hit and miss showers with that. So nothing to cancel your plans over the second half of the day, but we will be dodging some of those showers on and off throughout the day, especially east and south of the triangle. This cold front is headed our way, combined with some moisture moving in from the Gulf of Mexico, and that's what's going to bring us the rain for Saturday. So look at your weekend forecast. Saturday, I dropped rain chances a little bit. It's a 40% chance for rain. Previously, we were at 60%. New model data indicates rain chances are down a little bit. 79 for the high Saturday. Sunday is beautiful. A lot of sunshine, no rain. 77 for the afternoon high. So Futurecast, this is Saturday. This is midnight tonight. And we'll take a look at what happens through the day Saturday. Here's 9 a.m. And notice how most of the rain is going to be east and south of Wake County at that point. And that's really the trend for lunchtime tomorrow as well. As we head into the afternoon, I mentioned the cold front arriving. This is 3 o'clock. You can see kind of a broken band of rain. That's when the front arrives, and so hit and miss showers will be possible. It looks like a lot of our northwestern counties will probably stay dry. And then we head into Sunday. We'll have clearing skies. Should be beautiful as we wrap up the weekend. Temperatures right now, it feels good outside. 79 in Raleigh and Durham. It's 75 in South Hill, 79 in Fayetteville, and dew points are down into the 60s, so it feels really nice. This is a live look from our Jimmy V's camera at downtown Raleigh. The Hopscotch Music Festival underway today and tomorrow, and the weather looks really good today. Now tomorrow, you'll probably want the rain gear, especially if you're headed out that way in the morning. Temperatures will be in the 80s today, 83 in Raleigh, 82 in Durham, 85 in Fayetteville. Overall, pretty nice day today and really good weather for Football Friday, or if you're headed to Hopscotch in downtown Raleigh this evening, nice weather for that as well. We'll be in the 70s by 8 p.m. It should stay dry, just a 20% chance for rain by the time we get to 11 o'clock this evening. So it's a nice start to the weekend. Then we deal with some rain tomorrow. It's a nice finish to the weekend with all that sunshine on Sunday. And looking ahead to next week, looking nice and quiet, a little warm, highs back in the 80s, but looking dry Monday through Thursday. We have some football games coming up over the weekend. We'll take a look at those forecasts coming up.
Amy, thanks. There are several good scores to report in this week's restaurant ratings. 5 on your side shows us who got perfect scores later today on our News at 5.
Also coming up today on WRL News at 4 p.m., water bills skyrocketing in Apex. WRL looks into complaints from customers to learn more about this issue. But still ahead this noon, hurricanes are getting more and more common and powerful.
And efforts are underway to build houses that can better withstand these storms. Coming up, we'll explain why this home is one of the best options if you can afford it.
An American activist killed in the West Bank, and witnesses say Israeli forces are responsible. That story after the break. Following this breaking story in the WRAL Live Center, within the past 30 minutes, we have learned that American activist Aishanur Ejei was killed over in the West Bank, and she was shot during an anti-settlement protest in the Israeli-occupied West Bank. A U.S. ambassador to Israel confirmed this news and is trying to get more information regarding what led up to her being shot. But I can say that witnesses and Palestinian leadership are saying the Israeli military was responsible. The Israeli Defense Forces said in a statement that its forces, quote, responded with fire toward a main instigator of violent activity who hurled rocks at the forces and posed a threat to them.
Chris, a horrible update. We are in the middle right now of hurricane season.
And many coastal cities are looking for ways to help protect homeowners from serious damage. A new hurricane-resistant home has entered the marketplace in Boca Raton, Florida. It resembles a bunker, but the difference is in its construction. Instead of pouring traditional concrete, they use what's called insulated concrete form. It functions like Lego bricks stacked on top of each other. The result, an extremely durable home. It also has impact windows, which are sturdier and better insulated than standard windows. Getting home insurance in Florida has been challenging, but a home like this makes it easier to get coverage.
They're looking at the cost of completion and the cost to repair. So this type of quality is sure to have an impact on the cost of insurance versus something that wasn't built to the same standards or a home that isn't as new.
This kind of storm protection does not come cheap. This home is listed at nearly $1 million. It has 5 bedrooms, 7.5 baths, and nearly 7,000 square feet. But it could provide a blueprint for the future of hurricane-resistant homes.
Still ahead this noon, extra security at all Raleigh high schools after a murder suspect showed up at 3 of them this week. One big question we're asking, why wasn't the school system told about this earlier? We have another live report coming up.
Also ahead, it's National 401k Day. A local expert will share his strategy to help you get the most out of your retirement account.
And here are your winning NC Education lottery numbers on your screen right now. We're back in a moment.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news. We've just learned the teenager wanted for murder who's made stops at 3 local high schools this week is now in custody.
It's certainly a sigh of relief right there. On Wednesday and Thursday, Sincere Pigford was seen at Athens Drive, Broughton, and Enlow high schools. You see them here on this map. And WRAL's Sean Gallagher is outside Enlow right now, where he spoke to some of the students there. And Sean, what do they have to tell you about how safe they're feeling with all this going down?
Yeah, the students that I spoke to said that they were really concerned when they heard that there was a teenage murder suspect who was simply able to waltz onto their campus. And yes, he was removed from the school, but it's led to that increased security presence that you see here. There are 2 Raleigh police officers we've seen, and the students I spoke to say that they have seen that increase as well. And this isn't the first time that these students have had to deal with something like this on their campus. We are seeing video from Sky 5 of the apprehension of Sincere Pigford. He was seen here at Enlow, Athens Road, and Broughton High School. They brought this increased security presence at all 3 of these schools because he just walked onto campus, though administrators did identify him as a trespasser and had him removed, though they were unaware that he was wanted for murder in these cases. And we do see that he is in custody at this time, but still, these students were unaware of what was happening at their school and tell me that they were very concerned that he was so easily able to get on school grounds so easily. And now we know that Pigford has been taken into custody, and we know there were 2 other individuals who are already in custody as well for that murder back on June 30th. And we'll learn more about what will happen with Sincere Pigford now that he, again, is in custody. Live outside of Enlow High School, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
And you see Sky 5 right there over the scene here, taking a person in custody there, assuming that is Pigford, that they're taking him in. North King Street is the location there in Raleigh, where he's just been put in that police vehicle right there. This is something that has had many schools on edge and an increased response at all Wake County high schools this morning when they got to school. A lot of kids saw that, high schools speaking anyway. But the 3 that he had made entry into Renee certainly has to be upsetting for a lot of folks.
And Wake Schools put out an email to all families in the school system about this issue and about how Sincere Pigford had been spotted at these 3 Raleigh high schools where people at the school noticed that the person was trespassing and told him to leave. But at the time, they did not have any information that he was wanted for murder. So he left the campus in all those incidents. But once Raleigh police coordinated with Wake Schools, they decided to increase security at all Raleigh high schools this morning. And so for many of the high school students showing up to school today, showing up to class, they probably saw several more police vehicles there on scene as police continued to look for this teenager. And right now, Sky 5 showing you live that teenager that they've been searching for is now in custody, and you just saw him handcuffed and into that vehicle.
At North King Charles and Tudor Streets, the intersection there, you see the canines there helping them to track that suspect right there. Chelsea Donovan has been following this story for us all morning long. We can go back out live to her for more information. Chelsea.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, we're at the corner of North King Charles and Tudor. This is very close to Enloe High School, one of the high schools here in Wake County that we understand that Pigford walked into perhaps numerous times during this week. I want to show you this brick house here with the purple colored shutters. That is the house that this investigation has been centered around for the last hour. And if our photojournalist Ed Wilson can pan to the left, you can see there are numerous plainclothes officers. There was drones in the air, and as you can see, a canine on the ground. The sheriff's office, Wake County Sheriff's Office, and Raleigh Police Department, of course, working in tandem throughout the last day and overnight, working to bring this 3rd murder suspect into custody. We understand that there was 2 brothers that were arrested earlier this week in the murder of 24-year-old Serenity Spencer. That is a murder that occurred on June 30th on Hodge Road in Wendell. So we know that 2 murder suspects were apprehended by the Wake County Sheriff's Office, and we understand the 3rd was not. The details of that are still unclear, but we understand just moments ago our cameras captured, and of course Sky 5 captured Sincere Pigford being captured and brought into custody here near Enloe High School. Again, we're on North King Charles and Tudor. We can see some of that video now of him being taken into custody. It looks like he was at or behind this brick house here on King Charles. Of course, as you know, this has been an alarming morning for parents and students and staff at all of these high schools. We understand multiple times this week he entered Athens Drive High School, Enloe, as well as Broughton. And this morning, Wake County Public School System confirmed that he was a trespasser on multiple occasions. And of course, this morning, alerting students and staff and parents to that. And that's why they have increased that security around all of those Wake County high schools early today. But I'm hoping that parents, students, and staff, and of course, community members in this area can breathe a little easier, as we know that Sincere Pigford is in the custody of authorities this noon.
Our team coverage continues with Chris Lovingood in the WRAL Live Center to give us a sense of where this all is. Chris.
Well, Renee, I think it's important that we get for perspective, right? Let's look at this map here. So I'm going to kind of draw you where we are. So here is Enloe Magna High School, right? And then over here, we've got North King Charles Road, and then there's Tudor Place. So if we're looking at this map, roughly this is sort of the area that we're talking about. But look at how close it is to the high school, right? That's pretty close. And as you were talking about before, there were 3 different high schools that parents were alerted about there being extra police presence there, kind of being on alert, looking for him this morning. But now we can actually see that here. Again, not too far away. This is maybe less than a mile away from the high school there. So we're going to keep on keeping our eyes on this because I think our biggest thing we're trying to figure out is what actually led them to discover that he was in that location. That is a very important part here. So again, for those of you just joining us here, again, Here's Enlow Magnet High School, and then here's Tudor Place, here's North King Charles Road, and this is where the area we believe that they found Sincere Pickford in that area. So we're going to keep on trying to contact police sources here in the WRAL newsroom. We have other calls being made out as well to try to get more specifics, but the visuals that we have seen today clearly from Sky 5 showing that it appears to be Sincere Pickford being captured.
And very near one of the 3 schools where he has been located there in Wake County schools in previous times, multiple times into Enlow High School.
And plenty of relief now for students, teachers, staff, families concerned about this teenager who's wanted for a murder that took place on June 30th, and Raleigh police giving us a little more information, some context on what that investigation stemmed from. That was on June 30th when deputies responded to a shooting of Hodge Road near Wendell, and a woman had a gunshot wound. She later died, and they were looking for a third person in that investigation. They tell us that Sincere Pickford is that third person. They had been looking for him. He had been spotted at 3 Raleigh high schools in the past 2 days, which certainly had people concerned. And that's why we saw increased security at all Raleigh high schools. That was a decision by the school system and Raleigh police to keep people safe. And just within the last 5 minutes, as you've been watching live here, with Sky 5 showing you the vehicle where the suspect is now. Let's get back to Chelsea Donovan there on the ground. Chelsea.
All right, so you can see some of the scenes starting to clear here on North Charles and Tudor. If you take a look over to my left, this is the house, again, on the 500 block of North King Charles, where we saw an abundance of plainclothes officers. You can see a lot of these SUVs that are still about. There was drones in the air and dogs on the ground, and this is where we understand that they captured that murder suspect just a few moments ago. As you can see from Sky 5, it looks like they're clearing up. And as I mentioned, the good news is that Sincere Pickford is in custody. He is a murder suspect along with 2 other brothers in the murder of 24-year-old Serenity Spencer. She was shot and killed on the 7,000 block of Hodge Road in Wendell on June 30th. Now we know several months later, 2 brothers, the last name is Atkinson, they were arrested and charged by the Wake County Sheriff's Office earlier this week. What we didn't know at that time is apparently authorities were looking for a third suspect, and that third suspect, of course, was Sincere Pickford. Now, as we've been telling you all morning, just this morning, we learned that Sincere Pickford had entered or trespassed 3 Raleigh high schools, Enlow, which is nearest to here, Athens Drive, and Broughton. And Wake County Schools identified him as an intruder and a trespasser, but didn't alert the public of that or parents and staff until early this morning. So we're trying to understand why that happened and why there was a delay there. We do know that most of the high schools, of course, including those main 3, had increased security measures due to the fact that he was entering those high schools. Another big question, why was the search centered around this area? And the secondary question is, was he a student at one of these high schools? Where did he live? Of course, we'd like to know more questions about how his capture came about, and was he armed? But of course, the scene looks like it's clearing now. Sincere Pickford in the custody of authorities. This murder suspect, the victim in this case is 24-year-old Serenity Spencer, in custody. I'm sure that a lot of parents and students and staff and those in this community, in this neighborhood, are breathing a huge sigh of relief.
Going back to that June 30th incident in Wendell, it was, according to police, a large gathering outside that home in the 7,000 block of Hodge Road, a large gathering inside and outside that house when the shots were fired and this whole incident took place. But a long time to be on the run from this, a 14-year-old now in custody.
We'll have more on this breaking news after the break.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Here on the WRAL Live Center, getting you another look from Sky 5 right now. This is live happening at North King Charles Road and Garner Road there, or Tudor Place, I should say, as police are driving off with someone in the back seat. And that someone is teenager Sincere Pegford. He's the person that had an outstanding secure custody order for murder out against him. He was seen at 3 local high schools locally. And just within the past 10 or 15 minutes, we have confirmed with Raleigh police that he has been captured. There you see it, driving away, the squad car there. This is actually stretching back to not too long ago, several weeks back, end of June or July-ish, where he was wanted in connection to the shooting death of a 24-year-old Serenity Spencer that happened near Wendell. And then this morning, Wake County Schools sent out a message to parents telling them about additional security on hand at those high schools, including Enlow High School, and that high school is not far from where this scene is right now. Sky 5 has been on this for quite some time as this has happened, as we are catching this moment happening live right now. I did reach out to Wake County Public Schools asking if they will be alerting parents directly because of this. Of course, we'll update you here on WRAL as we learn more about this.
All right, Chris, thank you. Certainly unsettling for parents and for students when they were searching for that teenage murder suspect, and relief now that that person has been captured. It's not the most glamorous day, but it could be one of the most important.
That's right. This is 401k Day nationally, and coming up, I'll speak with an expert about how to make the most of your company-sponsored retirement account.
And meteorologist Amy Wilmoth will be back with another look at your weekend weather forecast, including our rain chances for tomorrow.
Today's National 401k Day, a household term, it sounds like, but only about half of households participate. And joining us now to tell us how we can make the most of our company-sponsored retirement accounts, Wes White, co-founder, Patriot Wealth Management in Raleigh. Thank you so much for spending a little time with us here. We appreciate it. Are people leaving free money on the table?
They are, actually. You wouldn't believe it. A lot of people forget about their plans or they put it off for a later date. And studies show us that about 4 out of 10 workers, Jeff, are not even contributing to that 401k plan.
So folks who do get in it, it is a popular savings tool for retirement. Why is it so popular?
It is a popular one, and there's about almost 72 million Americans that are eligible for one through their company plans. But again, it's kind of a new thing in that it really only came into vogue beyond the 1980s after Congress passed a law, and companies kind of went away with the pensions, right? The pensions have gone the way of the dinosaurs. So it puts a lot of importance on the saver, on the worker to take control of their money and plan for their future accordingly. That's important.
So many workers miss out on it, though. Why?
Yeah, it's one of those things. They either just put it off and they're going to worry about it later. But I think a lot of people need the income today, so they don't want to have their paycheck reduced. But if you don't start with a plan, then you're planning to fail. It's really important to start as soon as you can. You plan smart, you live better.
Yeah, I hate that smaller paycheck, but the time is on your side when you do it that way, right?
That's right.
What else can people do to maximize their savings in 401k?
Well, looking within your 401k plan, there are many different options as far as what you can invest in. So being cognizant of the cost. So we can control, and that is the internal cost. And sometimes you don't know just by looking at the name of a fund, right? You got to do some further analysis on that. And so one of the things that we like to say is make sure you're having a 401k optimizer done, something that really digs in, looks at the costs, and makes you aware of everything that you need to know within your plan.
That is certainly where the financial planner comes in. So you do all that hard work, right? Avoiding high fees, is that easy to do, hard to do?
Well, it's relatively easy these days because there's so much information about funds that are available out there. But again, I think it's important to take a look at all of the investment options because there's some really low-cost choices that accomplish the same thing as the higher-cost choices. And those are a huge drag on rates of return and ultimately what's left for you to retire on.
Get in early and often, right? Wes
That's
White
right.
is co-founder of Patriot Wealth Management in Raleigh. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
And I'm about to check my balance right now. Amy.
All right, well, we have some nice weather today, and we have a little hiccup tomorrow with some rain, but then another nice day on Sunday. So the weekend, we have a lot of dry time. This is a live look at our Jimmy V's camp. They're getting ready for another day of hopscotch. That gets started later this afternoon, this evening. Go to WRAL.com for more details on the lineup. 79, the current temperature. Dew point nice and and low at 62. Stays dry through the evening, just a slim chance for a shower at 10 and 11 o'clock, a 20% chance for rain. So Football Friday looks good. If you're headed to Hopscotch, the weather looks pretty good for that. Now tomorrow we do have rain chances. They're highest in the eastern and southern part of the viewing area. Cat and Mike might bump our 40% down to about a 30% chance. It looks like the northwestern part of the viewing area stays mainly dry. Looks like the UNC football game, it's a home game tomorrow. That should stay dry, just a 20% chance for rain. NC State plays in Charlotte tomorrow evening, and the weather looks great for that game. So a couple of big football games, and the weather's looking pretty good. Just maybe a few sprinkles at the UNC game. So we have some rain Saturday, but beautiful on Sunday, and that nice quiet weather pattern will continue into next week.
We're staying on top of breaking news in Raleigh. The murder suspect who was seen at 3 Raleigh high schools has just been taken into custody.
We'll be right back with the latest on his arrest. Stay with us. We wrap things up with a look at a few of the headlines we're following for you today.
We continue to follow breaking news in Raleigh. The Wake County Sheriff's Office and Raleigh Police Department have taken a teenage murder suspect into custody. All Raleigh high schools had extra security today after the suspect you're seeing here from Sky 5 video, Sincere Pigford, was seen at 3 different high schools, and investigators took him into custody around 12:30.
And breaking in just the last